A few weeks ago, my friends and I went to New York City to vacation and just hang around somewhere that wasn't California. And in this video, I want to talk about the Kodak Pro Image 100, which is a really nice budget film roll that I shot for the first time in the city as we were vacationing. And honestly, I am so impressed with the colors and the quality that comes from like a $6 roll. So I want to do kind of a half vlog overview of my trip, as well as tying in a review of my experience using Kodak Pro Image 100. So my friends and I picked up the film at B&H Photo, which is like the holy mecca that every film photographer, every digital photographer wants to go to. At the store, a very nice and knowledgeable gentleman recommended the Kodak Pro Image because of how well it handles itself in bright daylight.
Secured the bag.
Pro Imaging 100.
Yeah.
Gonna share, get some rolls.
Never shot this before, so I'm excited to see what it looks like.
So the first place we stopped at was the Little Island, which is a fairly new park slash touristy attraction area. And of course, right before I even loaded my film, I accidentally dropped my camera and broke the back latch door so it doesn't close. Of course, I always break my shit.
I know.
DIY, we're gonna load this up in a caravan, okay? We were at the Little Island around 2 p.m. in the day, so there's a lot of harsh light coming from the sky. But what I was immediately impressed with is that how well it handled the bright daylight, and I love the colors and hues from the green of the vegetation.
It's so freaking hot.
POV this.
Okay.
It's POV. We're finding the next shade spot because it's fucking hot out.
We literally had moved from here to over there. Oh my god.
It's just hot. After we left the Little Island, we hopped on to the High Line, which is this like 1.5 mile elevated urban park. Throughout this park, there's a lot of dichotomy between natural vegetation as well as the remnants of the old train tracks and railroads. So it gave for a very interesting background to play around with this film.
Knows you better than all this West Coast weather. Honey, not so fast. This is all I ask. Do you feel better? Do you feel better? Come on, say you love it. I know you're trying to get above it. There's a space outside, and I'm not surprised. I don't remember. I don't remember.
One of my favorite shots from the High Line was this picture of my friend Sheldon, and I loved how well controlled the light was here, and I loved the cool tones that was coming from the wood, and it overall just gave a really pleasant, soft look. Another shot that I was immediately impressed with was this picture of the flowers along the High Line. Again, we're talking about a camera that is passed down to me from my dad. This thing is like 40 bucks, so it's nowhere near a high-performing film camera, but even with my camera's janky autofocus, it was able to get a really beautiful depth of field, and I loved how deep and contrasty the colors were when you get up close to subjects like these.
Look at the giant retainer.
That is so strange. That is actually so strange. All right, film check. I've taken 13 photos. Matt, how much film you got?
Dude, I'm like halfway done with the first roll.
Oh, nice.
So I got like 18 left.
Uh-huh.
But there's no reason why we can't finish 5 rolls here, dude.
Yeah, and we have Brooklyn tomorrow.
Yeah, and we're popping up in, Soho,
Alright, that's that.
vessel closer to the sunset time. Also, vessel review, I think it's just a glorified Stairmaster, and you literally have to pay money to exercise. At the bottom of the vessel, I did take 2 pictures. One that had great light exposure, so no need for flash, and another one that was a little bit more underexposed. And with the underexposed photo, I don't think it's anything super special, but I also think it still maintains a really nice glossy green hue. This extra faded shadow look was very interesting, and I think it worked really well.
So lost in these diamonds, so lost in this paradise. No speed on that highway. We need you to shine bright when life gets too complicated. Will you stand with me after dark? I'll stay in the limelight like a beautiful afterthought, like a beautiful afterthought.
Sometimes you test me for something different. Hated when you did it. I wish that you didn't. I would do things and you get annoyed. I should have never done them. I wish I was different. Why do we have to slip away now? It's been a year, been a couple.
It says raining outside.
All week it has not rained. It said it would rain, and finally, the one day we all decide to not bring a jacket, not bring umbrella, not check the weather. Actually, it decides to rain.
On another one of our days, we went to Williamsburg and checked out the Dumbo / like Time Out New York area. Our plans were to definitely walk around more in the outside sections, but it began to rain kind of around midday after we finished lunch. When it started raining, of course, the sky was a little bit more gloomy and it offered some more dim, soft lighting, which we weren't able to get on previous days that were, you know, hot as hell. All right, we're escaping from the rain. We're inside Jane's carousel. It's a little bit gloomy, a little bit rainy. Not my jank way of sitting up. Alright, ready to go? It started raining.
Boring now. I'm all day.
I brought my board shorts on the right day. That's that East Coast preparation. On one of the remaining days of the trip, we went to Central Park and did the most touristy thing ever, which was ride the rowboats. I think this is still one of the things that you should do no matter if you're a local, if you're a New York native, or if you're visiting New York for the first time. I think the views of the skyline and the park are absolutely amazing, and this was definitely one of the highlights of the trip because of the photos that I got, but also very romantic rowboat rides.
They're so cute. Oh my gosh.
On the way to the boathouse, there's this very famous tunnel that you walk through to get to the fountain and the lake area. And I snagged this photo in a very underexposed manner of a man playing an instrument. For how cheap my camera is, I was actually really impressed with the outcome of this photo. Not only because I just thought it was a well-composed photo, but also because the way it controls the highlights, you can actually still see some of the detail of the tree lining. And again, I just love kind of how creamy the highlights look. And one of the last stops we took actually was at the Brooklyn Bridge. We went right around sunset / twilight, so the lighting was actually very well composed and warm for like 20 minutes before it got incredibly gloomy and dark. I think this was a timing where the orange and teal kind of colors came out very nice and organically, and it just has a very pleasant look to it in my opinion. This review, I hope you take with a grain of salt. I am not some kind of avid film photographer. It's only been something that I picked up recently in the last few months, but honestly, it's kind of a nice refresh from taking a lot of digital photography, where you kind of have to be intentional with all the photos you take. But with all this said, if you're going to film photography and you're looking for a nice budget, out in the daylight type of film, I highly recommend the Kodak Pro Image 100. I think that film speed of a 100 just does a really good job when you're shooting out in the sun. I know it's been a minute since I made my last video on YouTube, but I'm happy to be back and making videos like this again, where I'm genuinely excited to be sharing this content with you guys. On a tangent, I finally hit 1,000 subscribers, which is absolutely insane to me. I know for other people, it's just a small number. For me, it's a huge number. But besides that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Much more to come, and I'm excited to share that with you guys.